is insane and desperate, even for you.
Well, insanely desperate's where we are, don't you think, love?
Welcome into another edition of Box Office Quarterbacks, a midnight edition of Box Office Quarterbacks. We don't do this for just any episode, guys, and not for just any show either. We stayed up all night to talk about The Boys Season 4 finale. It dropped on Amazon finally, and it gave us a lot of answers on what we could expect going into the final season of this show in the next few years whenever they're done filming. I am Jeff. That's Ahmed. That's Gerald. Guys, there's a lot of stuff to talk about here. Let's start with initial reactions to the Season 4 finale. Gerald, you're up.
It was okay, but like it really is just an exposition dump for what will be this final season, like this series finale. It was just setting things up the entire time. It was kind of blatantly obvious too. So it's good. Don't get me wrong. Like the stuff that happens is still pretty cool.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, so I binged The Boys like this year, so I'm a little late to the train and everything. And I totally understand the hype, but season 4 was kind of like the worst time to kind of jump on because it's like okay, this is the filler season, if that's fair to say. The only thing really good to come out of this was the Homelander background episode, which is like episode 4. And if Tony Starr doesn't, get an award for that episode, we're all gonna throw a real riot.
I think this season had a lot of good moments. I really liked the Sage storyline. That was fun. Watching what's his name, not Aquaman knockoff boy.
The Deep.
Having his moments was kind of funny.
Aquaman.
I'm really and I mean, the Homelander and his son had some interesting moments. His son, like that went a different direction. I didn't see where it going that way. There was. I think overall the season was good. It was just there was things that were. It felt like it was building up to, and instead it was like revealed that no, we're still building up to it. So like, while I don't know it was filler, I will agree that like in the same sense you were blue balled for a good amount of the season.
Yeah, they were definitely moving the chess pieces here, and I think that was the main goal of the season, to set up a finale where Eric Kripke, the creator, is calling his version of the apocalypse in the Soup universe is what we're going to see in season 5. But Homelander essentially has all the control he's ever wanted by the end of this season, where he can shape America in his version of the world, which is a fucked up version of the world, being run by soups, and humans are second nature. So we have that going. I thought some of the revelations here in the finale were pretty crazy. Like you got Victoria Newman being outed on national TV right off the bat, and then
She didn't need to blow anybody's head up, man.
I was waiting for it to come. I was like, all right, we saw a disclaimer.
Last episode, no heads, none.
Yeah, that disclaimer kind of like when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, this shit's gonna be great!" And it was my idea for us to wait this late to talk about it because I thought it was gonna break the internet. But
I was hoping
if anything,
Firecracker was gonna get her head blown off there.
Yeah,
Firecracker sucks. Yeah,
Firecracker is hot. That's about it.
Yeah, like, so Newman doesn't make it out of this season alive. I was waiting for Bobby Singer to get it pretty much every single time he was on screen. That didn't happen. The boys are pretty much split at the end of this show. Like, literally, Kimiko and Frenchie are captured at the end of this episode, and I thought that was one of the best moments here is Kimiko finally says her first words of the series, and it's when Frenchie gets captured. I thought that was very heartbreaking. Huey and Starlight, with Starlight getting her powers back, and MM is getting taken out by the big dick guy again. MM has a bad rap here, man. Like, All the most disgusting things always happen to him. But yeah, we're in a very fractured place
Yo,
going into
I
season.
dead ass thought that was just an elephant trunk at first. And then, like, when I saw the guy walk in, I was like, no, that's not it is. It is what it is. I don't know why I thought that either. I was like, I mean, it's the boys, right? I mean, like, this is a show that had a man explode his penis from the inside. So, like, everything's on the fucking table, right? But I still was a little bit surprised by that. I was like, oh, okay, we're doing,
Pretty sure
we're doing that
Evan was
again.
too. He's like, "Fuck, you're alive."
I think that's one thing this season did was like it didn't have as many moments like that. It still had its moments, like with the entire Batman knockoff episode. Like that, it did had it, but like it didn't feel like it was as in your face with the sex stuff as it had been in the past. It was a lot more on the violence heavy.
Yeah, this one was definitely tamer, but I still think like in terms of violence, you only got a glimpse of that, like the real violence in episode 4. If they were able to maintain that same level of like ominousness, if I'm using that word right, then the season would have been a lot stronger.
But
Yeah, violence is definitely on the back burner here, and you could even say that uh, it was mostly used for shock value here more than anything. I don't think it really added much to the story this time around. Like you have Huey's dad, for instance, like phasing through people in a hospital, and what did that really do? Not much. It just took us a while to get to the point of this season, which was getting Homelander in a position of power. But not until episode 7 do you really see what the plan is here. And I think that's what really is going to hold this apart compared to the other seasons of this show. Obviously, Homelander is like a very dynamic character in this show. And we're going to get into our favorite characters here now. I don't love what they did with Butcher this season at all. Like, you have him with the devil on his shoulder and an angel and his ex-wife and Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character. I honestly think Kimiko is probably the best character of the season. I really loved her and her backstory, but
I wanted to
the
ask you
two
about
mains, the two mains are I don't know, they're in weird places. What were you going to say, Gerald?
just like the Kimiko and Frenchie storyline, kind of like because I felt like we were definitely building up to them before the season started, but whenever it started with Frenchie and was it Colin?
Yeah.
That story, I kind of thought, okay, they were giving up on the Frenchie and Kimiko's thing.
Yeah.
Did y'all get that vibe? Like, I was a little.
Oh,
bit
most
like,
definitely. They must have gotten so much fucking hate mail that they were like, we'll
well, I mean,
accept.
they filmed this a while ago.
No,
Well,
I
I think it was part of the plan, but it was they kind of abandoned that storyline like in the middle of it where Frenchie turns himself in and then all of a sudden he's out of jail the next episode. So
Yeah, but like I think Kimiko might have been the best character this season. I really liked A Train. I really did.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm kind of upset that like they kind of just had him like go off, and I understand why. Like, dude's fucking terrified of Homelander now, but kind of like I wonder how he's going to play into the next season because, like I said, this last episode was very much just set up for the entirety of next season. It was a trailer for the next season for an
Yeah,
hour.
A Train definitely grew the most, and I love the throwaway line at the beginning of this where they kind of reference like Batgirl, and they're like, "We wrote off training A Train for tax reasons," and it's just like a shot at Warner Brothers. I thought that was fucking funny.
Yeah. No, but and then like Huey's storyline was a little bit iffy. I did think it was very in character of him at the end there to like almost completely fall for the the shapeshifter,
Yeah,
but then also like catch on to it and all that shit. But yeah, like his storyline was kind of iffy.
I don't know. I didn't really care for any of those characters. I still think they did. I think they could have done better justice to Butcher. He's my all-time favorite character. I think he's the most misunderstood. And that's kind of like the irony with, them focusing so much on Homelander this season, because they really do want you to kind of recognize that he is dynamic. He does have his flaws, but he's also human or whatever. But you as the viewer are still supposed to go, yeah, I get it, but fuck him at the end of the day. That doesn't excuse his behavior.
Yeah, but doesn't it like? I think it like while I do agree that like I'm not entirely a fan of the way it was gone about, like it is kind of very in character for like an alcoholic to give in to the pressure of the thing that he hates and kind of become that thing. And that's exactly what like this last episode, like he became that thing finally.
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with that. I think it's just like one of those like moral quandaries that we're supposed to kind of like experience as the viewer, where we're like, are we supposed to feel bad for him, or are we supposed to hate him even more? Especially like that scene where it's him and the doctor, and she's like, "You could have broken out at any time," and he's like, it's kind of sobering moment for him. He's like, "Oh yeah, I guess I could." And then him kind of going, but they were like, we were afraid of you. Like, I was a child. Like, yeah, but you were a child with superpowers. So, and not just any, you had the best. And so, with Butcher to also be this misunderstood, it's like they really are the perfect, polar opposite. And I do hope that with his newfound powers, I guess, whatever the fuck these new weird spiderweb powers that he's got.
Yeah, he's basically Venom, I think.
Yeah. Either way, I hope that we can get what Homelander described as their last dance.
Yeah, I think Butcher and Homelander are going to die at the end of this series, and I think Ryan is probably going to kill them both. That'll be my prediction at the end of season 5, the finale. Before we get to rankings, what would you guys predict is going to happen in our final season?
Well, for apparently fucking Soldier Boy is back, so what the hell are they going to do with that?
Yeah, that felt a little forced in. I'm not sure about that front at all. I'm assuming there's going to be more of like him trying to forgive his father and then learn how to earn the forgiveness of Ryan type of deal going on there. But I just, it does feel a little shoehorned in at the end there, because it's like I thought we were done with him.
I think
But-
Jensen Ackles is just cool, so they're like, all right.
Yeah,
let's
so
bring
but like
this guy
it is
back.
Jensen
Yeah.
Ackles, so like
No,
I'm fine with it.
I love that you use the word shoehorned for this, because it does feel like that. Like he doesn't really have a place, so they just were like, "Hey, we'll fit Jensen Ackles in somewhere."
Well, yeah, we'll fit him in. We'll fit him in there. It's fine. It's Jensen
Yeah, it's
Ackles. Nobody
fine.
will really bitch that much, and I'm not bitching. Like, don't get me wrong. It was like, oh, that's a pleasant surprise. It's
Like,
like,
what if he
like
fucking lasers him like right then and there while he's
It's a-
asleep?
Show over.
you think you found a peanut butter cookie, you bite into it, you find out there's chocolate chips inside. It's like it's just a
Yeah.
nice little piece of heaven. It's like, okay, like
That's a great analogy.
it's like
Great
it's
analogy.
great. Like, okay, cool. But oh gosh, I do think that we're going to see a lot of. We're just like you mentioned. It's like we have Homelander and Butcher are polar opposites, but also they're so similar, and especially with Butcher becoming more like Homelander, they have the exact same goals but opposite. Homelander wants a world where it's just soups. He thinks everybody else is a fucking bug. They're just playthings. Even some of the soups are just playthings. Meanwhile, Butcher's over here, and I think he's starting to finally like. I think his last scenes, him losing it and just accepting the monster he's become, was him saying like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna have to end Ryan too. Like I'm ending it all. We're taking all the soups down. Fuck it."
And it is kind of like a throwback to like who he was from the very beginning, because that was the whole goal. Now it's like, why should you have a conscience when this is clearly war?
Yeah, so it's going to be a battle between them two again, like it has been the entire series, but on a bigger stage, right? So that's what I'm really interested in, because we're all millennial men here. We're obsessed with dystopian future type shit and superhero type shit. So you add that type shit together, super nerd type shit. We're bringing back our throwback on this BOQB episode.
Yes. We've lived
so-
through some traumatic events. Yes,
But-
we have.
Well, and I'd also be curious what they do with Black Noir, because he
He got a murder
Like-
boner.
got a murder boner, but we also got to see him fly. So, what other powers is this guy hiding?
That
Oh,
character
okay.
is so interesting just because he is not the real Noir, but he's basically an actor who's murdering people now, and he's like, all right, I kind of like this shit. I guess I'll
Yeah.
stick around.
And he was freaking the fuck out about it at first, and not. But like, I mean, it's probably the need for survival kicks in, right? So
Well, and
I mean,
I
he
just like
had
that-
to do that, and then at some point, he just realized he freaking likes it, and I don't know. I mean, maybe that's supposed to be like a Ahmed. Maybe help me out here. What's the word? Like, and it's a literary term for it, but like, not an allegory, but like on how like every man can turn into a monster if given the right circumstance, type of shit.
Yeah, he's become complacent in it. It's like I remember talking to some old veterans like that fought in Vietnam, and they were like, whenever they would do a kill, at the end of the day, for every kill at the bar, they would give you a shot. And at the
Oh
end
my
of the
god!
night, right, and at the end of the night, if you didn't get carried out of the bar, you lost. So so it doesn't surprise me that like this is the boner he's gotten. This is Noir slowly gonna be able to get carried out of the bar, if you will. But I just like that they included the same actor because I liked Black Noir's character to begin with. I thought he was, very good at like kind of being the silent ninja, and then with this actor, quote unquote new actor, it's really cool to kind of see that like he's still the same person, but slightly different. It's
Yeah.
I think that's just that's talent. That's
Wait, I'm
talent.
confused.
Little pantomime. And
So
then-
yeah, it's the same guy who's always played Noir. He's just playing a different character who is also Noir. So it's very meta in itself.
Oh,
But Gerald, did you not know this?
No, I didn't read anything
Yeah.
this season. I've become
just
like
blew his
really
mind.
good at avoiding
It's Black
spoilers.
Noir Inception. If you really think about it, it'll hurt your brain.
Don't worry, Gerald. Don't think too hard. We told you to stop doing that. It's not good for you.
Yeah. But yeah, he was great. I think Sage is also like really interesting and a huge
I
key
can't
to
watch the
everything.
fucking lobotomy shit. I can't watch it. I can watch a lot of the stuff on this show, but like I don't know, man. That just
That's
like
where you cross the line, Gerald.
I'm like,
Not
oh
people
god, that
crawling
just
inside
like,
other people's dicks. That's where you draw the line.
I didn't watch that either. I didn't like. I was like, ugh,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
there was one
The-
time
the-
she got lobotomized and she's like, I could really go for a Crunchwrap Supreme right now or something like that.
I
It is
lost
still
my
funny.
shit.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like I was watching it, but I was just like, "Oh my god! Like, what is going on here? Why is this on my screen?" If anybody saw me watching this right now and they didn't watch The Boys,
Oh yes.
that
This is
is-
not for the faint of heart. That's for
this
sure.
isn't the one you watch on the air and the like on a plane when you're not flying with friends or family.
Or you could do it and see what the reactions around you would be. That's also a thing you could do. But let's get into rankings. I think I'm going to give this show season 4 starter. I think that's fair. Maybe a low all-star. Let's go low all-star because I still had a great time with it. Just took a while to get to the point.
So 3.5.
What about you guys?
I'd agree. It's a high starter, low all star, just because I binged all of the series leading up to season 4. I even watched Gen V, even though you guys were like, you don't really need to. But I'm glad I did because then I wouldn't have gotten the last episode.
The last like 10 minutes, yeah.
The last 10 minutes. But it was also a little disappointing that like for other people that would have watched the show or not watched the show, they would have been like, who the fuck are these people?
Yeah.
And Eric Kripke, to his credit, was also like, I don't want people to have to feel like they have extracurricular homework that they've got to do to get the show. And He literally just did that. But and it's nothing against Gen V. Gen V was a great show. I'm glad I watched it. But it is a little like, oh, am I supposed to also watch Diabolical? Which I did. I watched Diabolical as well. But it's just like I wish there was not so. It wasn't so esoteric. I wish it would have been a little bit more like, hey, in case you missed it, kind of thing. That's why I'm going to give it a low all star, high starter, because that episode 4 with Homelander really just kind of knocked it out of the park, and I think that episode alone is like worth everything in this season.
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree with both of you guys and say it's a high all-star. Like, I think it's pretty damn good.
Gerald, go wait in the car.
What? What?
I said go wait in the car.
Go wait in the car.
Go wait in the car.
No, it's okay. Hear me out. Even though, yes, you can argue that the good amount of this is filler, it does advance the plot fairly well enough. It gives you a lot of inside baseball into the politics of this universe's literal political world. The Batman jokes were top tier. The Spider-Man jokes were top tier.
Yeah.
Zendaya is his safe word. That's fucking gold. I don't give a shit what anybody says. That right there by itself put it on all-star level. The Huey's dad getting it shows us a little more even into the super universe, his superpower, because that shows us that because Huey's power was also teleportation, if we remember correctly, showing that some kind of teleportation was in both of their DNA, showing that all humans are probably in this universe some kind of adept to having powers, giving the
except
right
Ashley
circumstances.
Yeah,
Which something
what's
that
going to
could be
happen to
explored.
Ashley? Yeah.
Yeah, some of that even give what's going to happen to Ashley. I think that could be like explored more into the next season, even a little bit, because we're going to be exploring the differences between humans and the supers a lot more in the next season. It did have Kimiko and Frenchie getting together finally, and Karen Furuhara. I love her, so she's cool. So like I do think this season was fine, and on top of that, the social commentary of it all. I think this season is finally when, and I know we don't get into it, but a certain political party is going to realize that, or they did realize on the internet that this show is talking about them, and it was hilarious because like it's been doing this for a while now. This show has a very obvious political slant, and I don't think that's entirely wrong. I don't think that means you shouldn't watch it because I think art reflects life and society.
Indeed.
And at the end of the day, TV is an art. But I'm going way too damn long here. So
Yeah, I still got to edit this. So
it's an all-star.
yeah.
But
It's an all-star.
I will say though, and I'll shut the fuck up after this. But in terms of like it reflecting art, the actors really respect that. I mean, Tony Starr is like loving how much fun he gets to have, but at the same time, it is also kind of scary that it is a reality.
Yeah, the timing of the show, especially everything that's happened this summer, is very, very crazy. Especially the finale.
That's
But-
another thing. And then they put the disclaimer there. And while I see the disclaimer and why they did it, the episode itself didn't really pull through with that part. And that in itself was a very boys move. Like taking it seriously, but also not that seriously, just to fuck with his viewers.
Yeah. I love the boys. I love the marketing here. Like if you follow them on Twitter, it is so on the nose, like compared to everything going on in our society. But I am excited for season 5. I think if it does stick the landing, I think we are in GOAT territory when it comes to superhero shows.
Yeah.
It's up there with Daredevil for me. I think it's 1 and 2 right now. But anything else you guys want to add before we get out of here?
I just hope that, like you said, season 5 is the finale, just because I don't want the show to overstay its welcome. I think that
It is. I think it is.
Yeah. Okay. I heard some
I think it's
rumors
been
that they were
confirmed.
going to try to go into season 6 or something, but
Okay.
no, I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad I'm aboard the train. #A train. and let's go from here.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been another edition of Box Office Quarterbacks. Busy month. We got Twisters coming up this weekend. We have Deadpool and Wolverine, and me and Ahmed now have to watch Cobra Kai because they dropped that
They
out of the
swept
blue.
leg on us.
And
Yeah.
Gerald's going to try to do some stuff with the Otakuverse here. He's got Kaiju number 8. He's got a theory that could be good from the manga historian shit. And then also Derek, a friend Derek and me are going to start doing some shit here eventually. He finally finished watching Demon Slayer, and I'm hoping we can talk on that soon.
Yeah.
So,
A lot of fun stuff happening on all sides of our universe, but this has been Box Office Quarterbacks. I'm Jeff. That's Gerald. That's Ahmed. We'll talk to you guys very, very soon.